This is Perfect Kid. Remember his name because it's going to change in 1 second. This is Moon Kid and Tansy Kid, who are also going to have their names switched in about 5 seconds. Their parents are Sunny Song and Night Fang. And Perfect Kid thinks everyone likes them except for Frostface, which makes Perfect Kid think Frostface is evil. Then proceeds to argue with Moonpaw. Moonpaw goes to gather herbs with Frostface. By the way, herbs are like the medicine or something in this universe to prove he's not evil, which he does pretty well. Then Perfect processes some meat stuff to Tansy Paw. So mean, in fact, that the whole next chapter is about a bunch of people getting mad at Perfect Paw. This originates Duck Frostface, which is such a meme that it's a plushie. Then Frostface punishes Perfect Paw by making him fetch moss. But Perfect Paw doesn't want to do that. Instead, he comes up with an elaborate plan to get Tansy Paw in trouble. Then executes that. Then they talk about pity, I think. Then they go to a gathering where stuff happens. This video is too long to go through the details. I think they talk about how well the prey is doing, or something. Literally a couple nights later, Moonpaw wakes up Tansy Paw in the middle of the night to go meet Houndpaw. That's a weird conclusion to the story, but back at River Clan Camp, or as I like to call it, just camp, Mincer wakes up Frostface to tell him that he's in trouble sleeping. Really, it was to talk to him about the fact that he thinks he is trash at leading, then falls asleep again, then gets mad at the person that possessed them. I mean, that's the chapter. Chapter 14, they walk somewhere. That's the entire chapter. Actually, I lied. Pepperpaw was messing around at the border, and leads the leaders are talking about exiling Pepperpaw. And okay, remember this line. I'll refer to it later, and I'll definitely forget. Anyways, they talk about what Pepperpaw did wrong. Then Pepperpaw actually gets exiled. Then we meet with Dave, who's poggers, and they talk Forbidden Hunter. If I were to make a list of the most memorable chapters, this would be on the top. Chapter 18. I just skipped this chapter. We don't need lore anyways. That's what it's about. Houndpaw is tasked to take this cat called Monarch Paw to this golden flower bed. Then they sleep there, then get found by someone, and then go back. The whole group goes walk or something. Dofa falls into the worst ditch ever. Monarch Paw eats the spider. Yum. When they return, Houndpaw goes to Mr. Magic Pool and attempts to talk to Starkland, who are like the dead cats. Houndpaw gets a flashback to when he was a puppy. Wait, is that Dave from chapter 15? His house catches on fire. A clumsy officer breaks his, and he finds out about Monarch Paw here. Then the best transition ever. As you guess, he talks to Sharkland, we're specifically Ratstorm for a bit. He freezes to wake up everybody. It's like waking up people from a meditation, dummy. But anyways, Moonpaw checks on Tailpaw, and fortunately, she's still sleeping under the waterfall. Back to Tales of Pepperpaw being exiled. To answer the question I've asked since the start of the book. Apparently, it's because they're apprentices. Then they continue talking about names and such, and then they go to fish. The not so epic cat called McMuffins wakes up and then realizes they're in here turf, and then McMuffins is like, I'll fight you, and Pepperpaw is like, okay, and then Dave interrupts and says, we're leaving. Good choice, Dave. Anyways, then McMuffins turns around and freaking drowned Pepperpaw. They get saved. Next day, Pepperpaw is found in a cage because of tuna. Dummy. The dog's around the cage, and then McMuffins helps for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's part of the evil process or something. Because I'm still not trusting the statement. Then the next day, Pepperpaw slaps Dave in the eye because he's hungry. Yeah, normal thing to do. Then Pepperpaw falls into a ditch. Then saved by Dave, then fishes for real. Then McMuffins shows up, so Dave also goes in the water. Genius. Then McMuffins says he wants a rematch and threatens to kill Pepperpaw if he's in a fight. Normal comic stuff. McMuffins literally throws Pepperpaw in a ditch. Then we have a epic Pokemon style fight. I love that the button for Pokemon is replaced with cats. That's pretty genius detail. Anyways, he tries to run but fails, and McMuffins then scratches her, but don't worry, Dave throws a stick. And they run away because McMuffins is very stupid. On that climax, we go back to Houndpaw and this guy called Russell Finn. Please say I'm saying that name right. In chapter 32, Jimberville finds out that Cricket Kid is missing. Then Houndpaw finds him, but can't save him, so Cottonstar saves him. Then we find out that something actually scratched Houndpaw while they were watching. Then they theorize about it for the rest of the chapter. Chapter 33. I'm not even gonna show this chapter. This guy called Saffron Paw looks for stuff and things. In chapter 34, this cat called Bird talks about some butterflies. Saffron Paw, which is a butterfly, and then this happens. It's the whole chapter. Defa is asked to expand the apprentice's den by this cat called Cinterglow, who's a freaking hypocrite. Then they basically build stuff. In this chapter, the name Boulderbutt becomes a thing. This cat, who I wish I knew the name of, kicks Boulderbutt, and Defa says this cat, Mudstar, is the second closest cat she knows. That ended up into chaos. Oh yeah, Defa's favorite cat's Moonpaw, by the way. I hope you're getting used to gatherings, because you can just guess what's in the next chapter. Yeah, all the groups and stuff go together to gatherings, where this template comes from. Then we have weird clan. In chapter 48, Tansy Paw gives some gifts to the elderly cats, and then Moonpaw and Tansy Paw speak for the first time in 7 human days. Then they get told a story where a cat drowns or something. I've read this multiple times and I still don't get it. But anyways, we're back to Tales of Purple Paw and Dave doesn't think he's gonna die. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. It's just a fever. Yeah, I just need to rest and it'll go away on my own. But what if it doesn't? You know, because you're kind of old. You know what, let's just stop following the conversation. After this conversation, we have a quick cat to Boulder Patch, or Boulder Butt. I think that name is expired. I'm gonna call him Boulder Patch. Then Frostface gets mad at Purple Paw for actually answering his question. Then Purple Paw's mom talks. Then Frostface gets mad again. We have another half chapter of talking about Hound Paw. Then this cat called Brown Paw chokes on some rabbit skin. I've heard a lot of people say. Anyways, in chapter 53, that chapter everyone knows for Brown Paw's interesting thoughts. Delphin announces some stuff, and then we have lucid dream again. Anyways, this cat called Shining Stream talks about how Golden Fur is being mean or something. Moonpaw makes up for a dream, then Process gets mad at Perfect Paw. I swear the amount of times I've said that. Then Dave realizes fish is actually good. After that, Perfect Paw tries to learn fish, and yeah. Dovepot has a warrior assignment, which is basically Dovepot has to do something. Moonpaw overhears this conversation, somehow. In this case, it's gathering prey. After a few minutes, Dovepot sees Moonpaw, and Dovepot thinks she's hallucinating, and Moonpaw fainted, I think. Dovepot reads the tile of Good East Bright. The other warrior name, can you guess it? It's Dovestrike. Then these frames happen, which I just think are hilarious. But anyways, apparently Moonpaw snuck into Shadow Clan, and I guess I'll call her Dovestrike now. To hand Dovestrike some feathers. And then Dovestrike says, yay. That's the end of the chapter. In Fear the Bacurity deity? I have zero clue how to say that. The ant army gets angered. In chapter 60, after you help Saffron Paw with smush some butterflies, I spent way too long in this game. Saffron Paw smushes enough batteries. Ah yes, that's exactly what I meant to say. Batteries. Finally, Saffron Paw's grandma is able to return to the Dark Forest. Let's go! I don't know if that's a good thing, but I'll give her credit. Even though Saffron Paw did all the work. Then they talk about cannibalism, and a bunch of nothing happens. Then we cut to Dave walking up and says, "Happy midday" to Frostface. Tansy Paw hands Dave some mice, and we get a run-through of the code, which explains why Perfect Paw got exiled very well. So yes, in this world, you can go to jail for being rude. Who could have thought? So, future me here. So, I realized that the code is, way more relaxed than I said it was. It's a little bit more sensitive than it is in the real world, but it is more sensitive than the real world. So yeah, that's where I got it wrong. So continue watching. Perfect Paw throws some epic insults, and then wait, did Frostface just disobey the code we just talked about? Anyways, Frostface tells the whole story of Perfect Paw, basically. Then we're back to the Tales of Hound Paw, and I remember randomly clicking on this chapter and being so confused after reading it, and I still don't know what it's about. Some Star Clan cats, and it is the Dark Forest cats. And then Ginkgo Kid gets reunited with his mom, fortunately, but they try to go past the border, and they fail. You know, it's chapter 69, it's memes. I won't show any of them, because I don't want to make anyone who made them mad. Dovestrike has some flowers, and after failing to load, Moonpaw is stuck in a tree, and Dovestrike stupidly breaks the branch. I love this scene. We have Dovestrike eye lower, then they eat stuff, and I can't disagree with Moonpaw here. It starts raining, and Moonpaw and Dovestrike stay in this tree hole, I guess. We have another appearance of Duck Frostface, featuring angry duck noises. Saffron Paw interrupts some sleeping people, and then attempts to do something by himself. Then Saffron Paw talks to a cat in a tree that fails to watch him. Then we have an epic battle scene where the other cats fight him. This guy bites on his head. Then Saffron Paw talks to his mom, and then we get some grandma lore. That sounds ridiculous. This chapter wasn't entirely drawn by ranboo, so I'll put who drew each frame in the bottom corner. Then we go explore a house, not knowing that it's a house. And this cat, who I forget the name of, pushes Boulder Patch off. Genius. We get Mr. Meme frame and basically explore more, and this cat knocks over a cucumber. And they sleep on the bed. Ah yes, the owners will be delighted when they get back and see all that pet fur. And they go to the basement and hear a slam. Huh, wonder what that could be. Guy opens a door, and apparently they didn't know it was a house, but now they know what a door is. Alright, I'll save that one for later. Anyways, the owners come back to a mess, probably think it was a bunch of squirrels or something, and to be honest, they're not that far off. They hide in this little thing, then they make a run for it. Most of them proceed to successfully export themselves out the window, and then Boulder Patches saves Dovestrike and dies? Yeah, that's the whole thing. At least that would be the case if the next chapter didn't release when I was in health class. Yeah, I literally wrote the script and read it right there. But anyways, here it is. Boulder Patch is found dead, and this cat really thinks he's dead. But Dovestrike saves Boulder Patch. Then, as soon as they were about to export him out of the window, the human or two-leg apparently. So the cats attack, and Beetlestripe gets pinned to the floor. Dovestrike stops at the doorway, and the two-leg slams the door, and Boulder Patch falls down the stairs. We have another Pokemon reference, then Dovestrike alludes to a joke I made a few seconds ago. Dovestrike looks for an exit, and Boulder Patch wakes up. Then they get locked in the basement with the exit, and Boulder Patch gets mad. Why? Because he blocked the exit with a stick for vengeance. Which is why you should do vengeance. Then he scratches Dovestrike. Boulder Patch's dad doesn't exist, and then we get into a fight, and we get the reasons why Dovestrike doesn't have another eye. Forget what I said a minute ago. Now that's eye lore. Then they hate each other, even though Dovestrike just saved his freaking life. Then the cats just break the window. Nice job. So brute force work. I swear these cats are going to catch up. We get a cut back to camp where Boulder Patch fixed a warrior's den leak. Then we get some lore for the next chapter. Alright, that's actually the end. Okay. So, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm kind of tired after reading that whole script, but, yeah, it was fun. So the tooth will be in the description, as well as the refs that I used to not mistake gender. This video took, like, months to make, and, yeah, I think that's everything.